aren't the droids we're looking for.
I got a bad feeling about this.
It's them! Blast them!
Hey guys, before Colton turns you into a tactical genius at Star Wars Legion, I wanted to hop on here and say we're giving this away, the not Galactic Republic, Separatist Alliance starter kit we are giving away courtesy of Atomic Mass Games. They sent this and some other goodies our way that we will also be sending your way in the future. But at first, we're going to be giving this away. And so I wanted to let you know if you want to win this starter kit, all you have to do is leave a like, comment, and subscribe, and we will choose one lucky winner to receive this starter kit. Now, we ask that you live outside of the lower 48, that you cover shipping. But if you live within the lower 48 states, we will send this to you at no cost. It is open to everybody. We just ask that you help us out with shipping if you live a long ways away. So anyways, with that being said, hope you do that, and here's Colton.
Hello everybody, and welcome back to another Tactics Talk episode. My name is Colton, and I'm going to be continuing our Battleforce guide today. And today we're talking about a very sick, very cool, very thematically pleasing Battleforce, and that is going to be the 501st Battleforce that is offered to players of the Clone faction, the Gar faction, the Jedi faction, whatever you want to call it now, because they're getting lots of new stuff, so who knows. But today we're going to be focusing on 501st, just like the last video. If you guys didn't check out that Imperial Remnant one, make sure to go check it out. We're going to be starting off with the rules of the Battleforce, how it works, what makes it different, how is it different than a regular Gar army, and then second, some tips and tricks, and then last but not least, a list that I think can showcase the upper level, the upper epsilon of what 501st has to offer. So maybe you can try a list out at your next tournament or your next game with your buddy, modify it, make it your own, play it to your heart's content. And then lastly, at the very end, I will kind of give the Battleforce an overall ranking, not necessarily based off of power, but just how well of a thematic feel and success it feels like it does on the table. So as always, we're going to get started with the rules of the 501st Battleforce. Jared will pop it up for you guys as well so we can read along together. But the 501st Legion has some special rules, not any crazy special specific rules for the faction like Imperial Remnant had, but we are essentially have some army building rules. The commander slots allow for Ahsoka, Anakin, Rex, and the clone commander. Nobody else is available. Core, you can bring Clone Trooper Infantry or the new Marksman. Special Forces, you can bring ARC Troopers or ARF Troopers. Support, AT-RT, Bark Speeder, or Clone Commandos. And for the Heavy, you can bring the LAATLE Patrol Transport. Unique upgrades allowed. You can bring the unique Ahsoka, Echo, and Fives, and now Captain Rex into the 501st Battleforce. So very thematically correct so far. Army building wise, each army must include 1 to 2 commander/operative units, and at least one must be a commander, but you can only have 1 to 2. Cores, you can only bring 1 to 4 core units, so a key distinction there. But on the other side of things, you can bring 1 to 4 special forces units. Support, you must include at least 1, but you can only have 2, and heavy, you can have 1 heavy option. So while 501st doesn't inherently have any special rules besides breaking that cap on the special forces slot, what 501st does have is 3 command cards that are unique to this Battleforce. And that's kind of the main reason that you play this Battleforce, besides of course being able to bring 4 special forces slots. So let's look at these command cards in order. You guys can find this on any list building site as well, but we'll pop up these cards one by one. So starting off, we are going to go with Lead from the Front. Lead from the Front is a 1 pip that can be given to any commander unit, and while building a command hand, you actually treat this as having 2 pips, meaning that even though it has a 1 pip on it, when you are list building, it counts as having 2. And a reminder that our requirements ask us to have 2 1 pips, 2 2 pips, 2 3 pips, and you always have your standing order. So 501st essentially has this unique mechanic that if you bring Link to the front, you can have 3 1 pips. Pretty cool, pretty awesome, a mainstay of the 501st Battle Force. And this card's really good too. So when an allied commander is issued an order with this card, choose up to 3 other allied units within one of that commander unit, and each chosen unit gets an aim or a dodge. Really strong with guard as they're able to share tokens between clone units. Fantastic. Okay, we're breaking the rules already twice. Next up, we have Leaders of the 501st. Sorry for skipping the 2 pip, but we're gonna keep rolling. Leaders of the 501st is the 3 pip available to you. It is a permanent, and it allows allied units within range 2 of Anakin or Rex to gain Indomitable. You give it to 3 special forces or core units, limiting some order control, but having an Indomitable role for the rest of the game based off of Rex or Anakin, or better yet, both, to just have red saves on your suppression rolls. That is pretty good. So we now have a very elite army, feeling even more elite, negating some suppression, and making your clones very courageous if they're standing next to the 2 goats of the 501st. So very good stuff from them. And then we have the 2 pip, sorry for skipping an order, is Tactical Planning. You give it to 2 special forces or 2 support units this round each time an allied special forces or support unit makes an attack against a unit that has a face-up order token. After the attack is resolved, shuffle that token back into its controlling player's order pool. If you pull up the list builder and you change it to the 501st Battle Force, a gentle reminder is if you're kind of forgetful of which ones I talked about just now, at the very bottom it says 501st Legion, reminding you that you have to play this Battle Force to get these cards, but also that they are allowed with this list building. This is essentially, I think it's called Pin Down in Empire, if I remember that off the top of my head, but you're essentially shooting into something with a face-up order, they gotta put it back in their bag and hope they draw it. Can be extremely beneficial to what you are trying to do in this Battle Force. But yeah, I mean, the rules of 501st, I'm not gonna lie, are pretty straightforward. There's literally nothing unique about it other than you can bring 4 special forces, you have to bring a support, and you get these 3 command cards. So arguably, if you're a guard player, just try it. Like, there's no reason not to. You can print and play all 3 of these cards, so you just have this special Battle Force that you can play anytime you want. The only downside is maybe that you can only bring Anakin, but those are the rules. So we've covered number 1. We'll move into number 2 with the tips and tricks. The number 1 tip I'll give you guys is probably try this list the first time you do with 3 1 pips. In other words, pick your commander, whether you want to pick Rex, Ahsoka, generic clone commander won't let you do what I'm about to talk about, but still you could do it with the synchronized offensive. So technically, yes, you could do this, but try 3 1 pips. In other words, if you're bringing Rex, bring Call Me Captain for 1 pip, Ambush for 2, and Breathe, lead them from the front since it counts as a 2 pip for 3 1 pips. And congratulations, in a game with 5 rounds, you could maybe go first 3 times pretty safely. And even if you lose 2 roll-offs, you have a 3rd 1 pip. So you're probably guaranteed to go first at least once, and that's a pretty good feeling. So with how elite and how hard-hitting the 501st units that you're bringing are going to be, it is kind of nice to get to go early because you want to do a lot of damage before you start taking attrition, since this army is going to be pretty elite most of the time. And that brings me to my next point. You don't exactly have a ton of options, which is not always a bad thing, especially for some of you that are new and looking to try some of these battle forces to spice up your games. 501st is pretty straightforward. You only get so many guard units that you can bring, but most of them are the bare bones basic. In other words, if you're buying the new starter box for clones, you have a good chunk of what you need to just play 501st off rip. As long as you can go find an Anakin or a Rex or an Ahsoka, congratulations, you have what you need. Obi-Wan, of course, is not in here as an option, but nonetheless, you get 1 commander, you're pretty much good to go. In terms of tips wise, to add to that, your support slot is probably the awkward thing in terms of, do I bring an ATRT? You know, do I bring a cheap bark to just run around and play objectives? I like to bring 2 clone commandos because I just miss snipers and like to shoot things from really far away, but you have a ton of options. That's the one you can play around with the most. The 4 special forces used to be a menace to society. People would bring 4 arcs, and then they would bring 4 sniper arcs or strike teams, because those are allowed in this list. And they would have 8 snipers. And I'm gonna tell you right now, you can still technically build that list. So if you're a psychopath like me, go try 8 snipers. I did it with Ahsoka pretty recently for a cheaper version of the old Anakin Menace, and it's still pretty fun. Okay, so you could do some pretty bizarre things with 4 special forces, but if you have 4 ARFs, or you have 2 ARFs and 2 arcs because you bought 2 starter boxes, this is a fantastic Battleforce to let you try that 4th operative, or not operative, but special forces that you may have sitting around in your collection. And it can feel pretty good to have much better order control on that slot. Now, your clone infantry, you can only take that up to 4, you can only take the marksman up to 4, but you are gonna want tokens. ARC troopers generate a lot of aims, ARFs don't generate a lot of anything, but your clone infantry are gonna be your mainstay of surges. So I highly recommend, as your second tip, put a couple different things in the list that can generate tokens, especially if you're playing ARFs and ARCs, which you likely are if you're playing 4 special forces. They do need a little bit of help. I actually like running my Anakin and or Ahsoka with Force Guidance. I like to give out those 2 surges early, especially with Ahsoka, where she's not necessarily in love with Master of the Force. Of course, you can give her Saber Throw as well. This is just a little recommendation. Rex is a good help with this. You can bring, if you're really dangerous, if you really want to, a lot of people used to bring the clone commander on the ARC troopers to get reliable 1 on them. Still not a bad idea. Maybe throw Echo in one of these ARC trooper units, anything in between. But yeah, it's a pretty good list in terms of that. It does lack some tokens sometimes, but with things like that 1 pip lead from the front, you can get out some serious token generation. So that second tip is just find some different combinations, whether it be clone commanders, you play 4 clone infantry, you bring out Force Guidance, whatever it may be. Surges are kind of missing from this list and can feel really bad into those 4 special forces units that you're bringing. But you can go full monkey with this list, and that's my favorite part. 501st, I think, in its heart wants to be just a go, go, go list. And so the list I'm going to show you guys is on the screen today, and this is going to be our last point for the video today, is just a list that I think encapsulates what 501st can do at its best. Now, I do think you can go the other way with this and maybe regress to 8 snipers and 2 commandos and just like 1 or 2 naked clone infantry to, you know, just shoot your opponent off the table. But with, once again, that lack of token sharing and just not really having enough surges to make the clones elite, they can kind of disappear off the table. But this is my classic 501st list, and I actually think this list is really good for new players because it's pretty straightforward, and that is go straight forward. And that is going to be this awesome 501st aggro list that has been popular, been nerfed out the wazoo, but I think it's still very playable and very good if you're just trying to have some fun and press the W key and go at your opponent and turn your brain off. Congratulations, you got 501st. It's just Anakin. And he's essentially got that Force Guidance I was talking about. I feel like with this 1 pip, you just go, 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 get into things, tear things up, attack twice, move 18 times. Your Tempted is ready to go. You're bringing up these 4 ARC troopers with medics to either heal him or each other as they're getting shot moving up the board. And you know what? If one dies, go ahead, Anakin, swing again. Get him in there early. Let people shoot at him so you can heal those wounds off of these medics. Anything in between. But yeah, it's just an anti-attrition list that use heals instead of a lot of tokens, since 501st doesn't have a ton of that. Ahsoka is allowed as an upgrade, and I think she's a fantastic upgrade for a normal clone infantry unit. Getting a free dodge out, never hurt anybody, and block allows you to save those surges on this unit specifically, and gives you another unit that is fantastic in melee. The other 2 clone infantry shotguns are just there to give out some more surges, and hey, a freaking 2 red Pierce 1 at range 2. Once again, full monkey. Clone commandos, there are 2 of them, just to kind of sit back, sit on our home objectives, recover, shoot over and over again. You can use things like Anakin's 3 pip to get him an aim turn 1 if you're feeling dangerous and don't want to go with the leaders of the 501st card off rip. But essentially this list is all about being super aggressive. Hopefully you got a line of sight blocker too, so you can move up the board And these arcs are so versatile. There's a reason they've been nerfed, I think twice now, maybe even 3 times if I can't remember, since this new edition. And I mean, they're generating aims. They're a fantastic move and shoot option at range 2 with sharpshooter 1 and 2 black dice apiece. Disgusting. Throw a medic on there to get another body, but also heal a body. Disgusting. Move 3 times with scout turn 1. Oh, here you go, clone commandos. I guess you have 3 aims to share between all my different units from just 1 arc trooper. Great. And like I said, you don't really need 4 arcs anymore. It's the literal same price, I believe, to run a ARF trooper with an RPS as it is an arc with a medic. So if you don't have 4 arcs, do 2 arcs and 2 ARFs and share those aim to the arc troopers share those arc trooper aims to the ARF troopers that don't generate any tokens, and they can use them at range 4 to blast people off the table. In other words, the arc troopers can generate tokens when they're not in range to charge or shoot things. They can move and shoot towards the objective, or they can just straight up run at you and punch you in the face with 2 aims. Tons of options, super versatile unit. Arguably one of those units that I think really teach you about positioning and moving up the board and not being scared to interact with the middle of the table. You get a lot of confidence from this list to just go at your opponent, but as sometimes you play and you just get wiped off the table from shooting, you're like, wait, I need to be a little bit smarter. I need to stage, I need to get things up the board. But I think things like Anakin give you a lot of forgiveness. Something dies, darn, guess I gotta use Tempted to move Anakin closer to your face, or better yet, just swing at you a 3rd time. It's a crazy list, and one that was really good for a long time for good reason. But I think this is a great way to play a more straightforward version of Legion. You're going at your opponent, you're being aggressive, and I think that's what 501st is asking you to do. Doesn't necessarily mean you have to play it this way and be a melee monster and go at your opponent and get up close and personal, but I think that's kind of the 501st energy, and I think that is encapsulated very well in this Battle Force, where 501st is a little crazy. They're coming at you, they're gonna mess you up. They think they're better than other people and Legions, and they show it. Anakin's crazy? Congratulations, so is 501st. And I think you have to be a little bit braver or wilder, if you will, to play this Battle Force, and that's kind of why you would, instead of just normal guard. You want to go at your opponent, you want to take the fight to them, you want to take the middle of the table. You're just a Chad, and that's what 501st is. So enjoy it. Enjoy being better than all the other clone legions. Put a little, you know, they didn't ask the other legions to go to the Jedi Temple and murder poor children and, you know, innocent Jedis. They asked 501st. They knew what they were going to do. They knew they were a little crazy. So just keep that in mind when you're playing it. So in my opinion, I mean, I think 501st gets an A-. For me as a Battle Force, I think it's very thematically appropriate. Maybe you could argue like R2 should be in the Battle Force or a Saber tank, but I don't know. I mean, I feel like all the guys that need to be here are here. Very thematic if you're a classic clone lover such as myself. Rex, Anakin, Fives, Echo, all them boys in one Battle Force is really cool. And I think the surplus of Special Forces adds to the theme of switching things up a little bit. The cards are fantastic. They elevate your level of play. My only downside is it is a very limiting in terms of list building for your main characters. It is either a 501st character or nothing. So your commander options are limited with Ahsoka, Anakin, Rex, and Clone Commander, but that's most Battle Forces, so it's a very easy thing to complain about. But if you like 501st, you love that part of Star Wars, you love clones, go for it. Fantastic cards. I think it teaches you a lot about the game, to take yourself away from just playing Gar and getting some new cards that essentially say, if you're in range 2 of Anakin, you get this. If you're in range 1 of your commander, you get these tokens. You get a third 1 pips. You get to go first. You get to do the thing you want to more often, and it usually rewards your aggression, bravery, whatever you want to call it, to interact with the game. So I think it's really good for new players that want a simpler approach to learning Legion. I think this is a fantastic Battle Force for you, and even, you know, really good players have used this Battle Force time and time again to elevate it to very high competitive levels. And Anakin, you know, got points increases for a reason. Arcs got point increases for a reason. I don't think they're bad at all. I think they're totally fine. They just might actually cost what they should have from the start. So as always, I hope you guys have an awesome time. Send me your 501st list. This is one of my favorite battle forces out there because, I mean, it's 501st. So send them bad boys to me. I always love seeing this. I'm a big 8 sniper kind of guy. So if you guys got any cool lists, send them below. Comment, like, subscribe. Tell me what you think. I love conversating with you guys about this stuff. But as always, have a great time. Good luck, have fun, and I'll see you on the table.